Hi, my love, and welcome to Yes to Life podcast, a podcast about soulful living and sacred feminine embodiment. It is a podcast about following our dreams, open up to our full potential, and saying yes to life. It is also a podcast about remembering the sacredness of the female body and the feminine essence. My name is Helena. I'm a mother of 6 beautiful children and a sacred, sensual, and feminine embodiment guide. I help women in all stages of their lives to love, adore, and understand their female bodies, to celebrate their feminine essence, and to awakening their inner goddess. I'm the founder of Blissful Feminine Flow and the creatrix of programs like Yoni Flowering, Womb Bliss, Sacred Bleeding, Blissful Mama, Pleasure Queen, and Sacred Feminine Body Love. I have always been very open and sensitive and have a feeling that more is possible. Beside my deep love and curiosity for the female body and the feminine essence, which I got mostly from my own pregnancy, birth, and motherhood, I am also very fascinated about people who have dared to walk their own path and follow their dreams and are showing us that more is possible. I can see the power of us coming together and have these deep conversations about the things that we care about. I can also see the gift of listening to these deep conversations. That's why I started this podcast. If this touches something deep within you, please stay tuned and let's get started with today's episode. So, my loves, welcome to another episode of Yes to Life podcast. And today I am here with my beautiful guest, Dr. Chelsea Page, also called the Well-Fucked Wife. And I'm so curious for this conversation. My whole body is using in the flow of life. And when I look at her, I just smile. So welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here for our delicious conversation.
Yeah, I love it when I sit here and just looking at you and smiling, and I can feel the energy, and I also know that the listeners are feeling it too. And it's beyond words. Yeah.
Yes, it's just taking a big deep breath and settling in, because I know these conversations can be so powerful and also very confronting, as there's not a lot of spaces where we're allowed to talk openly about pleasure and sex and intimacy and our truth and being women in our power. So this is, ooh, I can feel my body dropping even deeper. So let's fucking do it.
Yes, absolutely. And I totally agree at what I was loving about you. And I felt that talking with a woman that have experienced these deep places of herself that you have and can put it into words, it's nourishment for the world and for the women who are listening. So the ones who don't know about you, will you please share a little bit who you are? I know that's difficult, but
Yes, how do we explain our essence as women? But putting it in just a 3D context is, I'm a sex and relationship therapist and intimacy expert, and helping women deepen into more pleasure in their life, in their love, their marriages, and in their leadership. And I truly believe that when we as women nourish ourselves with pleasure, it heals the world, because that means us women are moving from more of our bodies rather than our minds. So all the work that I do is geared toward that, whether it's my House of Pleasure, whether it's the Well Fucked Wife podcast, whether it's my one-on-one work. We're all coming back to pleasure, love, and naked truth. And that's my whole business, is called Naked Living, which is so fucking delicious.
Mm. Yes, it is delicious. And I also think that naked living, because we can't feel this pleasure without being naked.
Yes. And it's naked in all the realms. So we can
Yes.
stereotypically think of being naked as, stripping off our clothes and, getting in the bedroom for sex. But it's, yes, that. And the biggest piece is getting naked in our truth, stripping away what's shielding our bodies, our hearts, our energy, all the conditioning, all the shit that says who we should be as women, what pleasure is allowed or not allowed, and just essentially stripping away those layers so that we get to our naked essence, because our authenticity, it's an aphrodisiac, and it just brings all the things we desire closer to us. And bringing that safety and nourishment to women is it's a pleasure. Sometimes I'm like, wait, is this my job? Is this for life?
Yes. And I think maybe we are more comfortable to being in the pain than in the pleasure. And we think that I was listening to something that you were talking about. I think it was about self-love, then how we are programmed to be in pain, and we think that we're not worthy of pleasure.
Yes. Oh, and I even have chills with this, because we've all experienced pain. That is a part of life, and there's no comparison of someone's pain bigger or quote unquote better than anyone else's. It is an experience that we're all going to have, but we have to make sure that we experience the flip side of life too, which is all the pleasure, and that we don't have to experience more pain in order to experience more pleasure. That it's not conditional in that sense. And so many of us women do that, where we have to go through the pain of struggle, the pain of not being ourselves, the pain of proving, the pain of pleasing, the pain of being burnt out. And we end up just living in that pain all the time and feeling safe to be in the pleasure of our naked truth. It's literally heaven on earth that we get to live.
Yes, absolutely. And I think for me, for many, many years ago, when I opened up to just feeling pleasure of being touched, it was really,
Mm-hmm.
really uncomfortable for me because my whole body was shaking and tears were streaming down my face, and I couldn't even do it for more than a couple of minutes. And I told the therapist to back off, and I trained to be inside of my body and feel what was going on. And now, many, many years later, I also feel the pleasure of guiding people, and especially women, to back to that pleasure. But I can still feel that it comes up shame and fear and, yeah, deep, deep old memories of that is not safe.
Yes, and this is the work, if you will, is to rewire our blueprint around just ourself, but also the blueprint of women, that pleasure equals safe, and building that into our essence and our cellular DNA, because then that message, as we birth new things in the world, whether it's creativity or children, then that gets fed into new life, that new blueprint, which is so powerful. And I feel like we're in this, oh, what did I call it the other day? This renaissance of pleasure, this renaissance of femininity, and this revival of being more in our pleasure. And taking those moments, just like you said, is seeing where our bodies are able to feel that sensation and not push ourselves too far, because we want to create safety and not re-traumatize ourselves and have it equal like, oh no, that's scary. So we take little steps to open ourselves. And one of the things I love to say is pleasure is found in the present moment. And so it's really a journey back to the present moment into our bodies. And we get to do this outside the bedroom and inside the bedroom. I remember an experience that's just coming top of mind. It was a long time ago. And I remember I was intimate with my husband, and he was behind me, good old doggy style. And he said to me, he said something to the degree of, I covered this in one of my podcast episodes, but it's like, I want you to feel me. And that was the first time that I allowed my body to feel him, not just in his penetration, but actually feel the energy of him enter into more of my body. And I could feel myself in real time, like denumb and come back into my body. And it was so powerful and so amazing. And it's like, oh, like this is what it feels like to be in my body while also having sex. It's like compounded pleasure on top of pleasure. And so we have to denumb ourselves, where so many of us are, I call it the frozen feminine, that we're just frozen out, we're disassociated from our bodies. And we need to just take one little step at a time. I call it a pocket of pleasure. Find your little pocket of pleasure, feel safe in it, and then grow your pocket of pleasure to infinite levels.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. I get tears in my eyes when you talk about it, because I can feel the difference being in the body and feeling it. And it's something that many of us needs to relearn and to do denumb, as you say. And when you talk about being naked too, maybe it's being naked without clothes are the easiest part, but being naked in our heart and being naked even when it hurts, to still being naked. I have experienced over and over again how the most painful thing is to close down, even if the things that I experience hurts. It's hurting is me closing down and shrinking and not being in my true essence. So being there and feeling your man penetrate you, I don't think that so many women have done that, to be honest.
No. And it's, when I talk with my clients around just even that word penetration, it's yes, again, physically, but it's how much are you letting your partner in emotionally, letting him penetrate your heart, the energy of him penetrate into your body, and letting yourself fully receive. And this allows us to be open and surrendered. And I can like feel the energy of it. It's just so yummy. And letting ourselves on all planes be open, and it's vulnerable. That's why so many of us resist it, because when we were in our truth, we were in our bodies back in the day, something happened that caused a part of us to say, nope, never again. I don't want to feel that ever again. I don't want to feel that pain again. And so that's when we go into shutting ourselves down, running away into our mind, burying ourselves up into being busy, giving, and not allowing ourselves to be really not just well fucked by our man, but well fucked by life. We're meant to be well fucked by life. That's the delicious nourishment that comes through to us.
Yes. And also I think that it's so pleasurable, and that orgasmic bliss that filling us, it's juicy, and we need to hear other women talking about it, because it has to be allowed for us to do that. And sometimes we need someone that walks with our side or before us. And I also see this because I work with women as a doula and preparing them for birth and motherhood, and to be there and to guiding them to feel what is going on inside of them is what is helping them to get that empowering experience.
Yes. And that's the power, like you said, the
Yes.
empowering experience, that when we realize what we are capable of, it's like, oh, I can actually feel that. Oh, it's actually safe. And seeing other women do that too. That's why, and it was reflected back to me this weekend. I went to this beautiful spiritual business conference, and some old friends that, business friends, and some new ones. And I got reflected back so much of how much I walk my talk, how embodied I am in my work. And it was such a gift to be reflected that back, because we need to see women who are embodying a life of pleasure, and to see again that it's safe, because primally there's a part of our brain that's going to go, oh, okay, she didn't die. Like, it's okay to be a woman in my power. It's okay to let life force energy and my eros and pleasure move through me and live life turned on. Like, oh, like,
Yes.
she's still alive and still
Exactly.
thriving. Like, I can do that too. And that's the primal permission that we get to have to live a life of pleasure. And it's the more women we can have do that. I have this mission of, I had this the other day, this thought that's like, I want like a minimum of 1 million women who are walking with fully embodied, fully in their pleasure, because the ripple effect of that it's a tidal wave.
Yes.
It's a tidal wave of turn on. I like
exactly.
that.
And you have this Pussy Church, is it called that? Pussy Church, you have had Fridays.
Yes. I did that that was for a good handful of months. And I still have all the beautiful recordings of that, which is going to be, this is actually the first time I'm sharing this, I have my free community, House of Pleasure, and I'm going to be opening the doors to the House of Pleasure VIP room, which you have access to all of my courses and also coaching with me. And so Pussy Church is going in there, and we dive into conversations like this. It's accessing that deeper sense of pleasure and power, and to know that pleasure is the prayer. It's so sacred. Like I said before, it's like heaven on earth, and we get to feel that good. It truly gets to feel that good. Permission granted if you needed it.
Yeah, and I don't think that we understand it. We can't logically understand it, but if you have felt it and start to understand and feel what is happening when you are experience pleasure on a deep level, because you can try to do pleasure and try to be in your masculine and try to achieve pleasure, but that's not the same as surrendering to pleasure and to open up to the pleasure that we as women are meant to feel. And when you do that, because that was why I asked you about the Pussy Church, I was doing a program that called Yoni Flowering, and there were many women that come there and they just said, I don't really know what you're talking about, but something is calling. And then afterwards, everybody said, it's so beautiful to have this community, because I can't speak about these things with women that haven't experienced it. And I think it's the same thing with what you are doing and what you are talking about. You can be inspired, but then you have to embodying it and have your own experience, and then we can share it, because when you describe your experience, I know what you mean, because I have had experience not exactly like that, but in some kind of way. So we open up each other.
Yes. Ooh, that gives me chills. And we open up each other. This reminds me of a conversation I had with my mom a while ago. And I was telling her all we really need is women to just gather together, and then the magic happens. This is why historically and so much of the separation and competition that they part us against women is it's better, quote unquote, to keep us separated. And because it means we're more suppressed, we're not as powerful, we don't recognize as easily the truth of our power. But when we come together collectively, even two women like us right now, I know this is going into a bigger conversation on your podcast, but women gathering together, we open each other up, and it brings this. The analogy that's coming into my mind is we want to be wealthy in love and pleasure. And so many of us are in rooms with others where they're really pleasure poor, that they're disembodied, that they're in the grind and the hustle in the old paradigm. And getting into rooms with other women, whatever that room is, to experience women who are becoming more and more wealthy in pleasure, it means more abundance. And we're meant to be wealthy in pleasure, not just wealthy with money. Of course, yes, we get to have that, but we want it to feel good. And like you had said, a lot of women do the thing, go through the motions, but they're not actually feeling the experience that they're having. And life is meant to be felt, not just to be functioning, because ew, I don't want to just be functioning. I want to feel it all.
No, yes, I totally agree. And also, I think that I've said this many times, but we as women are life carriers, and we are here to, if we don't are filled with life, our men can't even get to that place because they are experience life through us, and we are also the ones who are inspiring them to even be alive. Because if they don't have anyone to give to and don't have anyone to take care of or penetrate or to adore, what's the point? And I don't think that we are talking about this enough, because this is on a hormonal level really dangerous for our health. So being a well-fucked wife is not just for you, it's also a beautiful gift to your man.
It is the most beautiful gift, because the gift that you are giving is you. It's you in fully in your body, in your delight, in your just all your naked truth of who you are. And this is so confronting to a lot of us women, because we have such huge doubts of, well, I'm not worthy of having so much adoration and to be worshipped and to be ravished and to be supported and provided for and penetrated. I need to do something else or prove before I can actually receive that. But that is the gift. And I've worked with many, 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 many couples, and a lot of men as well. A lot of my work is geared toward women, but it's nice to dip my toes into see into the other fields. And oh my gosh, what an honor it is to have been behind the scenes to thousands of people's lives and sex lives and relationships. It's such an honor. And the theme that comes up is a lot of women, they come into this kind of Miss Independent space. It's no, I can take care of myself. I can provide for myself. I can care for myself. I got to do it by myself, because that's where they feel safe, and they're not in their bodies. They're not opening to pleasure, to be supported and cherished and adored by their partner, by life itself. And in relationship, I see the men, when that happens, the men feel so lost. All they want to do is take care of their partner, take care of their wife. And the visual that always comes in is they're these defeated knights that they just want to slay the dragons. They want to be there for you, but if you don't let your man be there for you, then they're purposeless. And then they're just like dragging their sword behind them with their head down, just defeated because they've tried over and over and over again. But then we shoo them away or say, no, that's not enough, or, all the different scenarios. And when we flip that around and allow them to adore us and take care of us and worship us and ravish us and be in our beautiful presence, that's what fuels them. And we have to allow that. That's what invites the world forward. That's the invitation. If we don't invite men forward, which is really invite them to care for us, then humanity won't move forward. And that's a detriment. That is not okay.
No, that is not okay. No, I totally agree. Yes, so on point. I totally agree. And I can see that too. And what I love about how you talk about it is that men don't have to be perfect. We can lower our standard, no, not standard, but we can lower our, because many women today are so independent, and how they're talking about men are really mean and really harsh. And if you don't do this and this and this, never go on a date with him. And I have talked about with my man many times and said, what if a man should say such a thing about a woman? If she doesn't look like this, if he doesn't have this, yes, look like in a way, don't touch her. It would sounds really, really mean, but
yes,
being a woman, we can be more soft and open, and they don't have to be perfect for us to love them.
No. And this reminds me of this example that sometimes I use of how we interact with our partner and allowing the pleasure of that intimacy and connection to come through and looking at the abundance of it and what is present rather than, oh, but he's not doing this. And the example I give is maybe you're desiring a bouquet of roses and your husband comes home and he gets you one rose, not the bouquet of roses, but one rose. Who you are in that moment shifts everything. If you come in and you're upset and resentful and you make it mean, see, he never gives me what I want, and you kind of scoff at him and you kind of like toss the rose on the counter, it's like, this isn't what I wanted. And then you get in an argument. It's you're looking at the 11 roses that you didn't get, as opposed to looking at that one rose that you received. And women are this is that piece where it's like, oh, but that's lowering my standard. I wanted the 12 roses. It's like, no, you can still desire the 12 roses.
Yes.
But if you face that one rose that your partner gives you and go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You receive it, you feel the pleasure of this, and you smile at your husband and you're like, oh, go get a little vase. I want to put it in. And you clip it and put it and like display it out in the middle of, your table. And you're just like, thank you so much, honey. And you give him a big kiss. Do you think you're going to get more roses after that? Yes, he'll probably come home with 3 bouquets of roses after that. But if you look at the 11 roses you didn't get and then scold him like a little boy, then he's not going to come back and give you more. And so we appreciate and love what they are already offering us and say like, yum, more please, because our delight, that's again the gift. And they're like, ooh, I want more of that energy. I want to keep feeling more of that energy. So I'm going to keep doing some yummy things to get more of that energy. So it's that difference is massive. And I've transformed not only like, yes, with other, clients that I work with, but in my own marriage by focusing on what I am receiving and feeling the pleasure of that totally transforms things. It literally turned me into the well-fucked wife, literally.
Yes. Oh, it makes me so happy to listen to you. And also, I think that when you said that, oh, why do you give me this? I can feel the energy closing down. And also I did a program called the Pleasure Queen, and many questions was about how is she acting and what is pleasurable, just how does it feel to breathe when you are in pleasure in the everyday life, and also what thoughts are pleasurable. And I I saw myself that these thoughts are don't pleasurable, and being like that to a man, you can feel what one is more pleasurable for us as women. Of course, being soft and gentle and happy and receptive is more pleasurable. So if we have this guidance inside of us that we want to live in more pleasure, it's in moments like that we can catch ourselves also.
Yes. And I love how you're saying about the thoughts and the pleasurable thoughts. And this makes me think of just even that phrase and word that you used before is like that nourishment and nourishing is I think of the thoughts like that's like food that we're eating. And is this nourishing to my body, this thought, this meaning that I'm putting to this experience, or is it nourishing or is it not? It's very simple. Is this bringing me closer to pleasure or further away? Is this action bringing me closer? Is this thought bringing me closer? Is this way of being bringing me closer? And it's pretty clear if the answer is yes or no when we pay attention. And the thoughts are huge. Obviously not the whole picture, but even like you said before of how a lot of women talk about men is how are you even thinking about men? How are you even thinking about your partner when you're not even in the same room together? How are you thinking about yourself? Are those thoughts something that is pleasurable that then when it moves through your body is going to bring love and nourishment to you? Or is it going to be, trying to think of something gross. Olives. I hate olives. It'd be like eating olives. It's like, is this thought an olive thought? Or is this thought a chocolate thought? So it gets to be, we get to play with it in that sense.
Yeah. And I think that we see more of what we are giving our attention to too. And as you said, that how we are talking about men, because I can feel this juiciness and this, oh, I like just watching him doing this and going after him in the store and looking at him. That's my man. And wondering how he's going to be with me tonight or something like that. And I don't hear so many women talking about their men in that way, or I don't think they even feel it because they are somewhere else inside of them. I don't think that they are experience their man like that. And I was listening to you, and you were saying something like, in the morning you were walking around and yes, looking at your man and thinking about I want to go to bed with him or something like that. And I smiled to myself in the kitchen when I listened to it, and I think, yes, I understand her. So it's so beautiful.
Yes. It's so beautiful. And I think this kind of threads into a piece we were talking about before is that the conversations that we have with other women and the new standard that we bring in and creating the safety of pleasure and this new blueprint that we want to bring in, this new pleasure paradigm is shifting, kind of the typical, if you will, like women gathering together and complaining about their husbands and complaining about their man. And to be the one, this was me for a while until I shifted some of my friend groups and interactions because that was not the women I wanted to be around because they were not rising. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah. I would be like gushing about my man, and I would be like, almost they would like look at me like, what's wrong with your man? I'm like, he's amazing. Like things are so good. And, we've had some hiccups the last, couple of weeks. I'm not going to go into that, but it's like, oh, it feels so delicious. It's such an honor to be his wife, to be the woman that he cares for and loves and penetrates. And it's so beautiful. And so to speak in this place of, well, that's the respect. So many times I've heard from men in private conversations that one of the main things that they're really wanting is respect. And one of the ways that we can respect our man is to receive them and be talking about them and thinking about them in positive reverence, rather than he's never enough, he's never doing enough, he's not meeting my needs. Like there's, oh, this man, it's like when you view him as that, he will be that. When you view him as this, not, perfect, like you said, but this man who is really wonderful and amazing and someone that you respect, he will rise to that and embody that. That's the power we hold.
Yes. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think when you talk about the well-fucked wife, I also see that many women are trying to talk their way to be well nourished by yes, understand. They want the man to understand them, and they're trying to talk with him, and they don't get the nourishment that they want because they want to be well fucked. So we have had a couple retreats, me and my husband, and we're sitting there with them, and the women are talking about everything that is wrong in the relationship, and the men are just sitting there and listening. And after lunch, we do the practical things and guiding them to find the polarity and to give him the opportunity to give to her. And afterwards, she had nothing to say. She's good. She's nourished. And I think that is something that we women can get lost in sometimes. We want to talk about things. I do this too. Want to talk about things, and he listens and he listens, and after a while I just say, just take me. Don't you understand? Don't let me talk so much next time. Please just take me.
Yes. Well, and I've witnessed this so many times. Yeah, a lot of women, they overtalk, they overexplain, especially their wants, their needs, and their desires. And then I tell some of my clients, especially the couples I work with, is you don't want to get lost in the facts and things and stuff. And this is where a lot of women get caught into, rather than the very simplicity. If you are speaking and sharing, and of course you get to share all the things, but when there's a need that's there, we got to share that. And it's so simple, not always easy. And I tell my clients, it's you share the need, you share the feeling, and you share the need. Yeah. Very simple. Don't say why you're feeling that way or how he can meet that need. None of that, because that's controlling and that's going into the masculine. It's very simple. I am sad feeling. I need a hug.
Yes.
So simple. And that gives your man a clear direction on what he gets to do and what he gets to be. It's like, ooh, I'm feeling horny. I need to be ravished. And it's like that, right? Those are desire to be ravished. It's very clear. Yeah. And then we get to be met there. And it's just letting go of all the story, the explanation, or, the speaking about all the other reasons or why, or all these past experiences you've had, which a lot of women go into, and that goes into the nagging and complaining. It's just the feeling and the need. And then a quick story that's coming up that I used to get caught in is my husband and I was not good at sharing my needs. I was like world-class people pleaser, like needs, desires, like what the fuck is that? Like, who am I? My naked truth and authenticity, totally disconnected from that and self-abandoning. And as I anchored in more and more and more into my truth and my needs and letting myself be nourished in pleasure and speaking that, before that, I would attack the thing that was getting in the way of the connection that I wanted with my husband. And at the time, it was his video games. So I would say something like, you're playing video games all the time. And what that immediate Willie would do, because I'm volleying over an attack, pointing a finger at something, he would go on the defensive. And because he's a logical man, be like, I'm not playing video games all the time. I didn't play video games last night. And then we're now getting in an argument. It's like, yeah, but you played it like 3 or 4 nights this week. And so now we're having this whole conversation that is completely distracting from the core feeling and need, which is I'm feeling disconnected. And what I want is to have a Netflix night tonight and watch a show. Yes. And when I was finally able to share that, I would bypass like 3 hours of argument and disconnection and instead actually allow myself to feel the nourishment of what I actually want, allowing my needs to be met. Can you imagine if all of us women allowed our needs to be met? Holy shiitake mushrooms. But that's allow the pleasure of that. So anyways, speaking the feeling and the need, it's so transformational.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it's a upward spiral, because when we are well fucked, also our cervix and our throat are opening up, and our yes, everything is going in the right direction instead of the contracted pelvis and the contracted throat that we don't. Sometimes I think women can't even, they don't know really what their needs are, and even if they know it, they can't really speaking them out. But when you are, so I think being well fucked has so many positive things that are beyond words, because it's so much that is happening inside of us, and also how we view our husbands and men are really changing when we are feeling well fucked and when we are allowing us to be that. So it's a good spiral.
It's definitely a positive spiral. And this just reminds me of this meditation I did the other day. I could feel my masculine energy and my feminine energy come together in a spiral, and seeing that masculine energy create like a staircase going up. And then I could see, because that staircase was being created, my feminine energy could actually walk up that staircase and be ascending, be rising. And because we need both, and allowing that to be just a beautiful, the pleasure of that union and that connection within ourselves and within our partner it truly is everything. And like you said, it opens up pieces like our pelvis, our womb, it opens up our throat chakra, and which is also why I love blowjobs.
Exactly.
So yummy. I said, oh my gosh, this was a while ago. I said on my Facebook, I was like, one of the most powerful positions we can be as women is on our knees in front of a man, blowjob. And I've got so much pushback on that, because they're like, no, it's, that's being, a servant, and that's putting you in disempowered position. I was like, how powerful it is to literally be in that position. Oh, it's so delicious. Yes. But anyways, tangent. Now I'm thinking about giving my husband a delicious blowjob.
Yeah, but I think I am thinking about, is it because they have had traumatic experiences because before I've been with the same man from 16 to about 20 years, and then I met the man I'm with now. And before, my relationship to my sexuality was more about me doing yoga and being in nature, because I felt the sexual energy. So I was in contact with the sexual energy, but I was not having a lot of sex. I didn't like it at all. And it was a really bad relationship and much power abuse and psychological abuse. So when I was sitting in a circle with women that was recovering from the abuse afterwards, they were asking about what we were thinking about when we heard the word sex. And for me, what was coming up was pain and power, power over me. And so for me, thinking about giving my man a blowjob was just someone was abusing me. But now I think about it totally different. Now, as you said, it is absolutely powerful because, yes, in so many ways. Also being on my knees and allowing myself to be the woman for him, and to giving him my devotion to his masculinity is so beautiful and pleasurable, just that.
Just even that phrase you said, devotion to his masculinity, is that, ooh, that gives me chills, because that's what creates the shift, that even the same action is very different because the context is different. That to be with a man or other in that masculine energy is that masculine energy you're devoting to, is it out of obligation? Is it out of fear? Are you playing into that power dynamic to be in a position of less than and small, and being in quote unquote connection with the wounded masculine? Because that's not the masculine we are devoting to. And what I've experienced is those really deep and wounded masculine, a lot of men will demand respect, but they're actually not being the masculine that we desire to devote to and respect. And so we just have to be careful, if you will, on the gift of our femininity, who gets to experience that gift. And not every man gets to experience that gift. Not every person gets to experience that gift. It's so precious of who we are. And so, yes, that context of feeling in mutual power rather than feeling power over you is such a different change. And that's where a lot of the healing comes in. I had to heal so much around masculine. Holy cow. And feel that my sexual self gets to exist in power in that realm, and that my pleasure matters outside the bedroom and inside the bedroom.
Yes. And making love is one of the most healing things we can do if we are being there and being conscious of what we're doing, and as you said in the beginning, being there inside of our bodies. Because if I hadn't done this healing, I have never experienced what I'm experiencing now. And also to feel the difference, because I can feel how much my man now is loving me when he's making love with me. The the things that he's penetrating me with, it's just that pure love and devotion that he can't even give me that experience with words or presents or things. Nothing can compare to that penetrating masculine love and devotion to me as a woman. So I can understand that when we as women are opening up and being in our full feminine gifts, it's also that absolutely gorgeous place to be as a man inside of us.
Yes. Well, and one of the things I say is be where you want to be met. And if you want your man to penetrate you, you have to be inside of you. They want to be inside of us emotionally, energetically, physically, but we also need to be inside of us and embody our body and not be, again, disembodied. And that's a huge, gosh, I mean, that would be a whole other episode, but very quickly, one of my relationship with my sexual self in the very beginning of, into my 20s was very much, I would try to get men's attention to validate me that I was wanted as a woman. And I would even go after men who were already taken. So it was like an extra challenge that if I could really get him to want me, then that means the huge validation. So I was essentially whoring out my sexual self to meet my need of feeling validated. But then when I would have sex, I would just numb myself out because I didn't want the penetration. I just wanted the validation. But then I was caught in this piece of, well, now I owe you because I lured you in, so to speak. And healing that and clearing that allowed me to receive my husband now in this place of, I can let you in because I'm not letting you in from a place of needing you for validation. It's from devotion to me, devotion to you, devotion to our mutual pleasure and power together. It's like a mutual worship that gets to happen.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's what you're helping women with too, because I know that you have been talking about, I have listened to you and you were talking about how to love ourselves so much that we don't need that validation. So we are overflowing in our essence, then how much more we can receive, because otherwise, as you said before, we are in our masculine when we are trying to demand things and control things. And I think that it's so easy for us as women today to control, and we have to, because we think that that is being powerful women, but we are missing out the beautiful pleasure of just allowing ourselves to loving ourselves first of all, and then don't demanding things, just receiving it.
Yes. Well, because I like to say too that we get to be full of ourselves. We're meant to be full of ourselves. I desire him, and he amplifies the love that already exists inside of me. He amplifies the pleasure that already exists inside of me. He allows me to touch levels of abundance that I wouldn't be able to touch myself, but not from a place of lack. It's like, no, I'm already full. He's my overflow, not my validation. Mm-mm.
Oh, beautiful. But how can have you seen the importance of women to taking back their pleasure, or starting to being in their pleasure and experience pleasure, and also sexual liberation and sexual pleasure? How important do you think that it is for us as women?
Oh, it's so important. It's, just again, the theme of here, it's the nourishment. It's the nourishment of our soul. It's literally life force energy in our body. Otherwise, we're just going through the motions of life. Pleasure is when we're feeling life itself. We're being intimate with life itself. We are being one with life itself. And it's everything. And it's in all the moments. Again, pleasure is in the present moment. It's in the, having sex with your partner. It's in having sex with yourself. It's in this conversation that we're having together. It's in, letting, which I always love, my seltzer water that I have in my wine glass. It's beautiful. And when it hits my tongue, it's the bubbles that hits my tongue. And I'm like, love this. It's literally being with every moment as it flows through life, rather than, I know it sounds cliche, letting life pass you by, but life and love will pass you by when you are not feeling the pleasure of that experience.
Yes. And also, I think pleasure can include sadness or anger or things like that, just like in guiding women in birth. Of course, the contractions and the intensity can come, but if you are focusing on pleasure, it just turn into pleasure when it's flow through you.
Yes. And this reminds me of currently right now, the book club I have in my free House of Pleasure community is we're reading Existential Kink. And part of the essence of that is feeling the pleasure of our shadow self, the things that we don't like or we're trying to push away. It's like turning toward and getting intimate of, say, this part of you that is thinks that blowjobs are ick. It's like, ooh, there's a part of you that actually has pleasure in the ick. And it's like, can you lean into that? Or, you dismissing that part of you that is anger, that has anger, unprocessed anger. It's like, can you feel like the pleasure of the anger, that like Kalimata energy, like let it come out and that fierceness come through, but because pleasure is essentially, it's like allowing yourself to feel just the sensation of life moving through your body as it ripples through your body. Yeah. But we label it as anger. We label it as love. We label it as sadness. We label it as joy. Because they're gonna feel different sensationally, but it's all, can we feel the pleasure of all sensing sensational moments? That's the sensual. That was a tongue twister. Yeah. The sensational, sensual moments. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And also going back to that, to being naked. And I also think that when we are naked, everything is different. Naked on every level. So it's a beautiful.
Yes. We get to be naked and free. That's like the whole point of this life of living and loving.
Yes. And I also think that when we are feeling well fucked and well nourished by being satisfied in our sexuality and to get the sexual energy to flow through us, we also our fear are going away and we get access to another part of ourselves. Maybe that's why they trying to get us out of our bodies and out of our pleasure and turning against our own sexuality that is life force. So when we can feel that we are nourished on that level, everything changes.
It 100% changes. Right? That's the being naked and nourished. That's the power. And when women stop fearing their own power, we will touch a whole new level of reality that we've never seen before. Different parts of us we've never seen before, existences we've never seen before and experienced before. And our pleasure is our power, and our body is the portal to all of that pleasure and power. And it's leaning in, just like we talked about before, feeling the safety of feeling and tasting and touching and hearing, like, when's the last time we let ourselves hear ourselves moan and groan and just feel into life? That is the power of it, because it lets everyone feel. And when everyone feels, that means they're not hiding anymore. And we get to discover a whole new level of truth when we're no longer hiding from ourselves or from life itself.
Yes, so beautiful. I think we already talked for an hour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know these conversations. Yes. We'll just talk all day. That's why I have all the stuff all over everywhere. So the conversation always continues.
Yes. And we can see this as the beginning of our conversation. And I just want you to share also for everyone that wants to get in touch with you and to work with you and to be in your space. Where do they find you and what do they do?
Yes. Well, a good hub to go to is my website, drchelseapage.com. And you'll find my blog, my podcast, my offers, Instagram, Facebook, and it's come friend me and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And the place where I hang out the most right now is in my House of Pleasure free Telegram community. That's really becoming bigger and wider and getting it up on the ground floor right now. So it's a beautiful place where we get to come home to our pleasure. And so that would be, if you want to continue deeper in the conversation, that is certainly a place to come to.
Yeah, I love that space because it's a little bit different than Instagram and Facebook. You get to go into this more sacred space with you, and I love it. And hearing your
Yes. I love it too. It feels like a home for me because, yeah, just even on Instagram and Facebook, you're kind of just like floating off in this ether. And I'm like, I want this beautiful, just this containment for us to just surrender and sink into. And like I said before, be where you want to be met. And that's where I want to be. So come meet me there.
exactly beautiful. And I will put all the links down here under the video too, so they can easily find you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is there something else that you want to share with the listeners?
Just allowing yourself to give permission for pleasure and knowing that your flavor of pleasure is very unique to you. It's like a snowflake. It's all different. And we need your pleasure in the world because it's different from my pleasure. And allowing it to be this beautiful constellation that we get to create and build. And we need all the women there. So no woman left behind in this new pleasure paradigm.
It's beautiful. Maybe that was what I was feeling before this conversation, that you are so lifting everyone up, and also seeing that our differences are the gifts we have to each other. And you can feel that in your space.
Thank you so much. Oh, well, this conversation was such a gift, and this is nourishing to me. Just talking about pleasure is pleasurable. So yum, so delicious.
Yeah. And once again, thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. If this was touching you, please feel free to share. And to find out more, check out the links below.